What's up, y'all? It's S-Dot. So I'm out at the range today testing out this 14.5-inch BCM. Should already have that video up if you're watching this one. But while I was here, I decided to perform an experiment. So I was up last night watching videos on, what to do to become a better shooter. And the majority of the videos that I saw all said dry firing. It's also the one thing that I'm kind of skeptical about, because I halfway think people say that because they like to play with their guns. And since I was already going to be out here, I decided to test that theory in a super scientific experiment. So I'm going to shoot around 50 rounds today without dry firing, because again, I just thought about it last night. And then I'm going to go home and practice dry firing every night for the next couple of weeks. And then I'll come back to the range with another 50 rounds to see if I notice any difference. So I'm going to use the same gun, which is again the Glock 19X, which is my favorite Glock, which I say about all my Glocks. But again, it's like having your favorite child. You say you love them all equally, but do you really? Okay, so for reference again, I'm probably about 10 yards out. I come back out here in a couple of weeks. I'll try to make sure I get about the same distance. Okay. All right, first magazine is complete. So I know I said I was gonna do just 50 rounds, but I think I have 15 set up in each magazine. Okay. And we'll go to our last magazine now. I hope I'm standing in the same spot. It feels like I am, but we'll see. All right, that's all of our shots. So let's see how we did. And like most of my shooting, pulling lower to the left, but not actually half bad. Again, we did have some flyers out like I normally do, but overall, this is what we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this target down and come back out here in a couple of weeks.
One eternity later.
So when I was out here a few weeks ago, I ended up shooting like 50 rounds through my Glock 19 or through this Glock 19X without any prior dry firing. Then over the last few weeks, I practiced dry firing every night without fail.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Well, I didn't do it every night. Some nights I only got a few dry fires in, but I have consistently practiced to some degree. So now I'm back out at the range today to test another 50 rounds to see if I notice anything different or if dry firing is just a waste of time. And honestly, I'm not expecting something crazy. Again, I only did it, for a couple of weeks, and I didn't do it that consistently or as much as I should, but I would expect if dry firing helps that I would see some kind of improvement, or at least I'll see if it makes a difference. Okay, so for reference, I'm gonna be standing about the same distance as I was before. Somebody's actually currently in the spot that I normally use, but I don't wanna get in their way, so I kind of set up the same distance, I believe, on the same range. So let's go ahead and see if dry firing made any difference or if it was just a waste of time. Okay, so first magazine is done. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Typical, again, have my flyers low, but I do have a decent grouping here. That was just one magazine. I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the next two. And I think for this one, I'm really gonna try to slow down a little bit and really focus on the dot and the trigger discipline to see if that dry firing made a difference. Okay, so let's see how that second magazine looked. Okay, actually much better. I think there was only maybe one more flyer, and most of my groupings are kind of in this general vicinity here. So I think dry firing so far, I think it works. Okay, final magazine, and then we'll do the comparison to see if there's a big difference. See what it looks like. And all in all, I had a 17 round magazine and I had two 19s. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's 50. All right, so overall, I think it looks pretty good. I think I had a couple more flyers on that last magazine, but for the most part, for my normal shooting, this is a lot more consistent, even though I'm still kind of dropping low and to the left. Normally I'm dropping low down here or I have more shots down here, but I actually kind of pulled most of my shots up, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna go back to the truck, pull out the old target and kind of do a quick comparison to see if my mind is playing tricks on me or if I really did make an improvement. So back at the truck to look at the targets. The target on the left is the one from when I didn't do any dry firing. I had a couple more significant flyers, but the groupings, honestly, I mean, they look pretty close. Actually, I think this one is definitely markedly better. Again, tighter overall. The whole grouping is pretty much in my hand, whereas this one obviously had, you know, a couple more flyers. So I think dry firing works, and I think if you dry fired, or if I dry fired with some kind of routine and got consistent and actually just did it and wasn't as inconsistent where I would miss a day, or maybe some days I would only do like 10 dry fires, I think doing it consistently would probably help definitely with trigger control. Like I did notice when I was shooting today that I wasn't surprised, I wasn't caught off guard of when the break was, because I've done so many dry fires with that pistol over the last few weeks. But I will say that I'll probably continue doing it. I'll dry fire some more and more consistently going forward, and then I'll test this theory out again in a couple of months to see if I can get this even tighter, because again, this is about the size of my hand, which I think is pretty decent. And I mean, this one as well with, you know, with a couple of significant flyers. But anyways, that's all I got for today. Dry firing works, I think, or maybe it doesn't. Either way, you know, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.